hear and to hear you, because we are not so accustomed to receive such a big delegation of indigenous peoples from Philippines at the first time, and we are especially happy to discover what you have to say to us here in Geneva. Before to give the floor to Mr. Kapuyan, who will manage this meeting and moderate this meeting and present the speakers, I would like also to ask you to sign our golden book, just a signature as a souvenir of your coming here and your press meeting. No, you can sign here. Good, and I'll let you, yeah. Yeah. Good, maybe Mr. Kapuyan, I will give you the floor and let you introduce the meeting. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, sir, for the kind introduction. Thank you to the Swiss Press Club here at Geneva for this opportunity that we are allowed to present our narrative. So to start with, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Chairperson Allen Kapuyan of the National Commission of the Indigenous Peoples in the Philippines. This is the mandated agency that will look into the rights of our indigenous peoples, where we have a total of 110 ethnographic tribes. With me are the different members of tribes in Mindanao, and I'd like to introduce them one by one. I'll start with DATU Panuliman James Binayaw of the Manobo-Talaandig tribe. Then we have Bai Magdalina Iligan of the Mananwa Manuvu tribe. DATU Awing Apuga of the Ata tribe. We have DATU Langilan Asinadbago of the Matigtalomo Manuvu tribe. We have Bai LAHONG Chiary Balinan of the Ata tribe. Chiary. Then we have DATU Joel Dahusay of Matigtalomo tribe. We have Bai MATUMPIS Anak Crisostomo of the Obo Manuvu tribe. And the last but not the least, DATU Nestor of the Langilan Manuvu tribe. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for agreeing to engage with us this afternoon on a very important issue, which is the plight of the indigenous peoples of our country. We thank you for not just being here, but more importantly for you who wanted to listen to our stories. It is quite lamentable that certain sectors in our country or interest groups have been working for the downfall of our democratic institutions by using our very own indigenous peoples, its issues anchoring on those objectives but benefiting their interests. Yesterday, we're glad that we were allowed to speak in the United Nations Human Rights Commission, as we also articulated the same narrative. We wanted this time to really look into their massive funding of launching a purely falsehood of alleged human rights violation by our own government against our own indigenous peoples, but of course with the sole objective of shaming our country before the eyes of the world. But this afternoon, we believe that enough is enough. Enough for those lies, enough for those deception, and of course the world deserve to know. Indeed, the Philippine government is the promoter, the prime mover of recognizing, respecting, promoting, and protecting the rights of our indigenous peoples. We are the only country in the whole world that came up with an Indigenous Peoples Republic Act ahead of the United Nations UNDRIP. It is our adherence to that declaration of the human rights, inclusively as a provision in the coverage of rights and freedoms of our brothers and sisters. In fact, we are a state that is party to the 8th Human Core Rights Instrument. Foremost in this regard is the International Convention on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination as it applies to indigenous peoples. These foundations are part of what we define in our 1987 constitutions, or we called our Freedom Constitution, as a human rights and freedom instruments. And as I said earlier, in 1987, from out of these directions emerged the Indigenous Peoples Republic Act, which actually predated the United Nations Declaration of IP's Rights by 10 years. This is the social contract of our government and the indigenous peoples of our country. And to operationalize this normative framework, an appropriate and effective mechanism had been set up in our country. Thus, as I said also, the agency, the National Commission of Indigenous Peoples, was then activated as the primary state mechanism looking into the rights of our indigenous peoples. The state-led indigenous peoples participation framework was also done to sustain the active involvement of our indigenous peoples in government, decision-making, especially in community and self-development. All this has resulted in significant milestones, such as the recognition of the indigenous people's right to native titles. As we all know, before the law was enacted, the IPs are not considered the owners of the land. When it was enacted in 1997, it corrected the historical injustice. So almost 30% of our Philippine territory, or 1/3, is considered as ancestral domain. It ceases to become a public land. It now becomes a private communal property owned by the indigenous peoples of our country. Therefore, it gives him the right for ancestral domain. It gives him the right for self-governance. It gives him the right for their justice system and human rights. And it gives him the right for their cultural integrity. But of course, in our Constitution, it is the state who owns the resources. So to strike a balance, as the resources are owned by the state, which is minerals and even the trees, the indigenous peoples in our country was given the first right to develop it, or the first right of refusal, to the so-called prior and informed consent, or EPIC, or if they wanted to develop it on their own, we called it the exercise of priority rights. These milestones are reflected in the Philippines periodic report to the United Nations, specifically to the United Nations Human Rights Commission, under its Universal Periodic Review, as well as in state compliance report that are regularly submitted to the relevant treaty bodies. And we are proud that the Philippines is now on its 5th term as member of the United Nations Human Rights Council. However, as the Philippines takes pride in what it has done and achieved thus far in promoting, protecting, recognizing, respecting the rights, and fulfilling its mandate, our government and our agency is confronting continually the following threats that disrupt the state's effective compliance, including its human rights obligation. And these threats come from our own local terrorism perpetrated by the Communist Party of the Philippines, its New People's Army, the Armed Wing, and its United Front, the National Democratic Front. This triumvirate is referred with disdain as the communist terrorist groups, or or CTGs. These three groups are distinct in character. It has its unique presentation, but actually they work as one. One cannot operate without the others. So when they say the Communist Party of the Philippines is legal, yes, only to a point that it should not commit crimes. But in our country, the Communist Party has the New People's Army and the National Democratic Front to launch the National Democratic Revolution, or NDR. The intent there is to establish a coalition government composed of Communist Party members, the New People's Army, and the United Front, to include allies in existing government. They called it the first stage of the revolution. However, on the night of seizure of political power will commence the second stage, which is the socialist revolution led by the Communist Party. And it is written in their constitution. Their latest version of the constitution stipulated this, meaning to say publicly, they are saying that we will launch a violent revolution through the conduct of general offensive and general uprising to seize power. And in the conduct of general offensive, they base themselves in the ancestral domain, converting those ancestral domain as revolutionary guerrilla base, as a stable base area, areas where they have to undertake the vertical development of their armed groups, converting those secret places as their camps, allowing the IPs to get out of the area so that they can control the periphery. The indigenous peoples have their baganis, the traditional warriors, which they use now to become New People's Army, renaming Bagani into Pulang Bagani Command or the Red Bagani Fighters. In the last 5 decades and more, communist terrorism in the Philippines has resulted in the following. Allow me to name it. The summary execution, torture, enforced disappearance of thousands of IP leaders and members. They set up kangaroo courts with indigenous peoples as in charge of kangaroo courts. They ordered the head of the kangaroo courts to have these indigenous peoples killed or killing their own, letting somebody, an IP, to kill their own relative, their own members of the family, and killing them in front of their families. There has been genocide of members of indigenous communities, including beheading, mutilation, even inside the place of worship, as shown on the screen. Indoctrination of IP children and youth to terrorism through hate speech and exploitation, including sexual abuse. If we are not going to stop this, we will be developing a new generation of children who have the radical minds, who are disrespectful, who are disobedient, who does not believe in families. Because what is done now by the Communist Party of the Philippines is to divide the men, the women, and the children. Ironically, the one implementing it are the non-government organizations connected with the Communist Party of the Philippines. Our RP children had been taken away from their families and communities and trained as armed combatants and as makers of bombs and explosives. Our IP children had been trafficked and sexually abused, with the so-called human rights defenders being caught red-handed. Our IP children and youth with high scholastic marks was also targeted for recruitment, for higher education, then work in the different non-government organizations. Destruction of IP traditional leadership structures and governance processes. It is the program of the Communist Party of the Philippines to supplant traditional leaders and replace them with revolutionary ones. Our IP leaders have been forcibly replaced, including being killed and replaced with terrorist lackeys. They have been also used in kangaroo courts to sentence fellow IP for execution. And IPs have also been deprived of the right to suffrage. Because what the communists and NPs are doing is that during election, no candidates can go inside the ancestral domain if they don't get a permit to campaign or permit to win. Bottom line, it is only those candidates whom these armed terrorists are aligned with that they allowed entry. Then there is a wanton disrespect and defamation of ancestral lands, causing displacement and hunger. Terrorist strongholds has been established by the same terrorist group inside the secret ancestral domain. Our ancestral land had been converted also as detention farms. If you're indigenous peoples and you committed something against their will, 3 things may happen to you. One is that you have to join the NPA as their servants as they go around the area. Second is you will be confined in a situ of indigenous peoples, excuse me, where you are confined and tilt the communal farm. The third one is you will be brought to a mountain area and you are asked to stay there and develop a farm. Not in days, not in months, but in years. Further, the manipulation of IP groups and communities for political anti-state and anti-establishment ends. Our IPs, especially the youth and students, have been coerced into joining violent political and terrorist actions against the state. IP groups have been mobilized in support of terrorist cell, and our revered indigenous term had been misused to repair terrorist death squad. You know, for the indigenous peoples, every word is very important. The word Bagani is important to them. But the NPAs and the terrorist group name it as Reed Bagani as fighters against the government. The Pantaron Range, which is a sacred ground and a paradise to the indigenous peoples, is now converted as camp of the National Operational Command of the New People's Army for the entire country. Further, extorting from small to big businesses and destruction of properties for their non-compliance. So the CPP, the Communist Party and the NPAs are collecting revolutionary taxes from the indigenous peoples, from the companies inside their territory at the expense of the tribe. Finally, misrepresentation of IP as an anti-state and supporters of terrorism to malign the state in international arena. Our IP brethren are brought to the United States and in Europe and had been used falsely to vilify government in international forums such as the United Nations Human Rights Council, resulting in weakening the integrity of the same as a human rights institution. We are saddened that through this false allegation, it is projecting as if the Council and the Philippine government is not sensitive to its given mandate. Having said all this, I now call on the leaders of the communities, from the young people and from the elders. They are coming here not because they just like to come here. It is part of the customary laws that if there are areas that their name are maligned or falsely accused or being used for whatever political ends, it is within the customary law that they must come to this place to clarify issues, to tell the truth, and hoping that they can engage these groups for the resolution of the case. Because the concept of the customary law is always the resolution. But when they went to the United States of America, what the group there of the CPP, to its legal organization, Bayan USA, attacked them in one of the sessions. I hope this will not happen here in Europe. So along this line, allow me to let them share their personal experience and personal narrative to what happened to each one of them in the ancestral domain. I'd like to start first with Datu James Binayo.
Hello?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alvin James Binayaw, a member of Manobo-Talaandig tribe from Mindanao. We are the Mindanao Indigenous Peoples Youth Leaders who condemn the atrocities committed by the CPP in PA to us. This because of the fund they have received from the international institution and organization. For us indigenous people, our ancestral domain is our life. It is the land that our ancestors fought for us to be preserved for our next generation. But what the CPP-NPA did to our ancestral domain is to establish their own community within our ancestral domain. They become a problem to our ancestors because they are expanded. They're always expanded from time to time. And our ancestors have been displaced to our own community. This leads us to the destruction of our culture and tradition because we don't have a place anymore to live. Our future generation have been destroyed because they cannot practice anymore our culture and tradition, our indigenous knowledge system and practices. This is a picture of the organization who have infiltrated our community, established their own organization within our community. And I am afraid that one day, the next generation of our tribe will become squatters in our own community. I call on to the international community to please stop the support to those organizations who are allied with the CPP-NPA because they are just using the fund to not intended to what they are asked for. Because for the past 50 years, the CPP-NPA come to our ancestral domain just to steal the peace and development they're supposed to have in our community. And they are also stealing our people. For the past 50 years, they are killing our IP leaders, our children. They are converting them into a child warrior and bringing them into war against our government. For the past 50 years, they destroyed our families and the future of our children. Also the next generation that's supposed to be peaceful. I call on the international institution, organization, to please help us. Help us stop the CPP-NPA destruction of our ancestral domain. Help us stop the CPP-NPA using our land as our guerrilla base. Help us stop them in killing us, the IP leaders in the Philippines. The 50 years reign of terror of the CPP-NPA must come to an end. And this will be because of your help. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James. Our next speaker is Bai LAHONG Chiary Balinan of the Ata tribe from Davao City.
Mopian mapon kanilangon. I am Bai LAHONG Chiary Balinan from Ata tribe in Mindanao. I am a victim and our community was a victim of local extortion of the CPP-NPA NDF. Our community is poor, yet we are forced to give them a rice and a can of goods to the CPP-NPA. My family and our community cannot resist because they are armed. I am also a victim of recruitment. They teach us how to use propaganda to fight our government, our Philippine government. But I refuse to remain with them because what they are teaching is contrary to our culture and tradition. They ruined, the CPP-NPA NDF ruined our customary law and our culture and tradition. They ruined the good future of the IP children. My father was accused as traitor simply because he support and helped to implement the government programs in our community. And he refused to subscribe the CPP-NPA ideology in our community. So please, I am here asking for your help to please stop the support from the international, because the support that comes to the CPP-NPA that will be the ending of the lives of the IP leaders in our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bay Chiary. Our next speaker is Bay MATUMPIS anak Crisostomo of the Obo Manobo tribe.
Mapayamapon kan Talangon. I am Bay MATUMPIS of Obo Manobo tribe of Davao City. I am here to tell you my story of the difficult situation that we have been experiencing for 50 years now. Because of the CPP and PNDF of the Philippines and NGOs who tell us they want to help us, but in truth, they are not helping us. Instead, they're helping the CPP and PNDF to raise funds and to kill all of us. They force our leaders to attend their assemblies from the kangaroo court to sentence our tribal leaders to death. They also impose curfews, and we are all scared to move around because they continue to threaten to kill us. When my family opposed this cruel act, they burned our house, and we were forced to leave our community. Our future generation is in great danger. We are being killed and losing our identity. Please see through the lies and deceptions of the terrorist CPP and PNDF. They have blood in their hands. Help us stop the abuses, violence, and tragedies we suffer as a tribe in their hands. With our Manama, we will continue the fight for our rights, land, culture, and for our next generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bay MATUMPIS, Ana. Our next speaker is Dato Joel Dahusay of the Matigtalomo tribe in Davao.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Joel Dahusay from Talaingod, Davao del Norte. I am a teacher and community organizer. Since the time I am interested to finish my studies because I want to help my community, especially to my tribe. Because if you know the indigenous people, they are lack of educations. That's why I am pursue my studies about the educations. And 2009 up to 2012, I am a volunteer teacher in my own community. And after June 5, 2012, I am formally absorbed by the LGU of the Talaingod as a daycare teacher. Then during the time, the Communist Party of the Philippines, my community is already infiltrated to my community. There is no projects from the government because the New People's Army did not allow the government project who entered the community. But for me as a teacher, I asserting my right to put up the government school of my own community. And after that, the New People's Army, they abduct for me to conduct interview because they did not allow the government project who entered the community. And then, only the Salugpungan School who allowed them to enroll the IP children. But the indigenous people, they already know that the Salugpungan School, MISP, TRIPS, Al-Kadib, SOS, and RMP are the school of the deceptions of the Communist Party of the Philippines. And then, after that, through the initiative of the indigenous people, because they don't like the communist ideology, to brainwash the indigenous people, because after the teachings of the teacher, they brought the children into rally and taught the children to how to assemble the guns and to become a child warrior. And after that, will become a cadre of the New People's Army to destroy the IP, ICCs, and to destroy the government. Through the school of the New People's Army, it is an instrument of the Communist Party of the Philippines to destruct the law of the Philippines. And if you know, the CTGs group, they are most violator of the law. Like for example, the EFRA 8371, the right of indigenous people, they could not respect, including the right, the Universal Declarations of Human Rights. They are also irrespected of that our law. And then, why I am willing to teach my co-tribes? Because I don't like the communist ideology. Because I don't like to show the next generations to become a worse tribe. And I don't like to say the indigenous people, they suffer many sacrifices because the new people's army and the indigenous people, they experience the more violations like IP killings, militarization, and brought the children into rally. This is not the culture of the indigenous people to against the government. And then I am emphasized that indigenous people also have the right to education, but the new people's army did not allow the indigenous people to join the government school, only the school of the Communist Party of the Philippines. This is hurt for me. That's why I am decided to counter the propaganda, because I don't like the new generations to become the enemy of the government. And for today, with this my testimony, if you heard, please stop the support of the funding from here in the Europe or any places who can support the front organizations of the New People's Army. Because if you are support them like you are support to kill the IP leaders of the community. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Datu Joel Dahusay. Our fifth speaker is by Magdalina Iligan of the Mamanwa Manobo tribe.
Thank you, sir. I am Magdalina Iligan from Surigao del Sur in Philippines. Kanay so usano na biktima at MPE mig eskwela ada trips nahimuan sekretariat SKM sa mga kabataang makabayan. Pag-graduate ko elementary mig full time at MPE 20 kayo nabuok. One time mig haras kayo to detachment. 3 times kayo nakaduma to pagharas mi don duma kuno. Naigo dot uyo in yobong agad no wada katagat da mo ginikanan. Tapos sunod na paano noy mi don og iskinoy silutan to kamatayon. Upat indakop da duma indakop da angkul kuno upat na buok. Buhi pa do da sobok in putus to trapal in yobong. So mig panabipad kanay. So mig pakitabang no og patabang. So wada na himo ko in himatadan dan yak no wada duha-duha yang kang kaberdugot kan MPE. O nahimuan to sekretariat MB milisya ng bayan, kana ito tigkulikta to mga kwarta, kana ito tigbolit mga pinansdan mo kagamitan dan, mga butas, mga battery, bogas, cellphone, kinahanglanon na dat guyangan. So, kanda tamaon to pagkuha to mo kabataan, kunatan og hayaan og kabong kagan mo mo kuwat kang kaugmaon to kang kabataan. Please help us. Tama na ang paggamit sa kabataan, tama na ang pagwasak sa kinabukasan sa mga kabataang IP. Thank you.
By Magdalena Iligan articulated that she started joining the school established by the Communist Party, the TIPS school in Surigao. TIPS is the Tribal Filipino Program for Surigao del Sur. And at the age of 12, in the school, he was trained already to become an NPA with 20 others. Then he has joined at least 3 attacks against military detachment. Then later on, he became the head of the militia ng bayan and tasked to collect revolutionary tax. Then later on, she was ordered to kill her uncle because her uncle was decided to be murdered through a kangaroo court. And for that, actually, she has 4 uncles to be liquidated or murdered. But she refused, So one of those was being stabbed on the side and was buried alive, right? Was buried alive. And the last part of her testimony was there is so much abuse in the use of the youth, the young people of indigenous people. So she made a call that there must be an effort locally and here abroad, especially the schools of the CPP in the Philippines are receiving support coming from international donors to the different NGOs. So that was her message. The sixth speaker is DATU Langilan Asinadbago from the Matigtalomo Manobo tribe.
Marayon mga pukantatiwa. Good afternoon. I am a Sinadbago members of Matigtalomo tribes in Mindanao. As a student of Salugpungan. Paglapaw ta imperi ito kanami, tahunan panahon kanami malinad na malipayon kay. Niglapaw ka NPA, nigtukod ta eskwelahan na Salugpungan na sabaw ka na nagsuportahan to RMP, Rural Missionaries of the Philippines, o gisuportahan po sa international. Diha giwasak nila, giwasak ka kanami na pag-ugpo. Inagwaan kay to katungod isip mo tribo na nigugpo to kabubunganan. Nigpuhay mo kanda to eskwelahan. Kamu gini kananay kanami ka nighimo na katabang te sarili ni tano. Waro bayad day nigvolunteer na nighimo kay kanami kog balibad kay tibo na moamay nay og sige pawat to ka NPA. So grabe na pagpanglapas te tawhanong katungod isip kanami mo Manuvu na nigugpo to bubungan. Hangtod kanami nakuba ka kanami no pagrelasyon to manag igagaw tungod ta trabaho ta NPA. Niabot ka panahon na nigkuntuin kanami ka nigkontrol. In control ken kandan ta sarili ni natano. Nigkakis kandan to og himukit eskwelahan. Pero katibo no nig-produce to mo materialis kanami kanang bagay tibo kayo molansang tibo no mo gamit ti eskwelahan kanami mo gini kanani kanig bagay para lang og pakapahimo to sikan na eskwelahan sa Salugpungan. Pagkoon kanami kag pamitot koon gani kanami pad kag pako to mo maestra. Tibo no lapis papel kanami tibo sarili ni sikan pagkoon sarili noy wara tabang na nig punto NPA no para ipako kanami. Hangtod kanami nag-eskwela koy. Mao ni kanatunan ko kundi katawag basa og katawag bungkag tapusil. Katawag manutog himatay. Manutog rally, manutog pang-recruit no para gligon ka kanami na organisasyon. Manutog recruit no para mo ni ka NPA to kabubunganan. Manutog bringwas kasabakan bata no bisag ka nagsukot. Nagkondio og kakabig tungod ta trabaho ta NPA. Kanami warad tarang na pagugponoy tungod to grabin pagpanglapas ta tawhanong katungod na nighimo to NPA. Kapinakamasakit na nighimo kanami gani gihimo pa nila nga negosyo nga ang mga batanon niabot ang panahon nga gihimo mi nilang negosyo bisag asa namin nila gibaligya niabot ang panahon nga ang mga kabatanunan ako usa ko ka biktima sa rape nga gihimo sa maestro nga si Ronnie Garcia nga di ko kakuan nga ingani ang nahitabo sa akong kinabuhi tungod kay ako doon ako'y pangandoy sa una unya niabot ang panahon nga nawala akong pangandoy tungod sa mga binuhatan sa NPA ug so grabe nga giwad-an jud mig katungod isip mga kabatanunan sa tribo. Sa pagkakaron wa nami tarong nga mga panghunahuna ug wa nami pulos ani nga kuan murag wa wad-an nami paglaom. Nawala namong mga pangandoy tungod sa gihimo sa NPA. Gihimo ming negosyo pagkatapos gihimo pa mi nga dulaan. Pighimo kay kandan no baboy. Panawagan ko no tamo kanighimo no kanami unta no kayo mo nagwangkin kaniyo tatibo no nigsuporta no ko na digpadayon. So grabe kanami ka makaloloy. Kaya taman dakon salamat.
Thank you, Datu Asinad Bago. I will discuss what he said. He said that they belong to a very peaceful family until such a time that the school was established with a rural missionary of the Philippines who is supposed to receive funding. But what happened is different. They lose the right of the proper education. They were the one who constructed the building and produced the construction materials without payment. Then even the school supplies, they're the one who produce it. Their provision of food is also their concern. But while studying also, they were taught to assemble firearms, undertake propaganda teachings and cultural show so that they can recruit and brainwash also the young people. They are also used for business and fundraising because they go to the city and present cultural presentation for the getting of funds. The last that he said was he was a victim of rape and several others classmates of his. He even mentioned the name. And this was done for 3 continuous years, and he was raped or sexually abused every day. And he is now calling for help to stop the financial support coming from international donors because it will just go to the New People's Army. Lastly, he shared that it has almost caused him to lose hope and disrespect to himself that he lost the confidence. Thank you, Datu Langilan Sinadbago. The 7th speaker is Datu Awing Apuga of the Ata tribe.
Maayong buntag sa atong tanan. I am Awing Apuga and member of Ata tribe and Talaingod Davao del Norte. Successor in Datu Gibang Apuga, founding chairman in Salugpungan Tatano Ikanugun. Unang-una, dako ang akong pagpasalamat nga naabot ko dinhi tungod kay sa dugay na nga panahon sa 50 years na katuigan ang pagbatikos sa NPA sa among tribo sa among tribo. Unang-una, ako usa ka child warrior. Child warrior ko nga ang hinungdan nagtukod sila og eskwelahan nga salugpungan ang pangalan ang organisasyon na salugpungan gihimo nila nga sa eskwelahan. Diri ko na recruit o diri ko na biktima sa paghimo nila sa eskwelahan. Nahimo kong squad leader sulod sa isa ka tuig sa NPA tungod sa pagbringwas sa kuha. Gitudluan ko magunit og armas, gitudluan ko mag-snipe, gitudluan ko mag-ambush, gitudluan ko pag-attack og mga detachment sa edad nako nga 15 years old. Kani mga kabataan usa ni nga giguba sa komunista nga terorista nga grupo, giguba nila ang ilang kaugmaon sa diha nga nahitabo experience nako sa tibuok nakong kinabuhi, dili nako makalimtan nga ako nasamdan ug ang ako mga kauban namatay sa labanan. Naigo ko diri sa ulo, sa kamot, ug sa paa nako, nga hikaingon ako, diha ra gyud siguro, diri lang kukutob, kaya abi nako gumatay nako. Sa diwala, niabot gyud sa among sitwasyon sa mga kabataan ang dili namo gipangandoy tungod sa gihimo sa NPA. Simple ang among gipangayo nga maka-eskwela mi, makabasa mi, makasulat mi. Pero tungod sa gihimo sa NPA nga pagbringwas, pagtudlo sa dili tinuod. Usap pa, gigamit ang among mga kabataan o gigamit nila para makwartahan. Gigamit nila ng mga propaganda nila para sa ilang mga sariling interes. Sakit pamalandungon namo nga tribo. Dili namo madawat nga kaming tribo nga diha lang nga wala gamay ang kaalam nga gigamit mi para sa ilang mga interes. Sakit sa buot namo tungod sa ilang gihimo pagdaot sa among kultura, paggamit sa among mga sinuutan nga kultura, sa among kultura. Gigamit nila para sa ilang kaugalingon. Uusap pa, kani akong papa nga si Datu Gibang Apuga. Usa ni ka leader sa tribo. Nagihimo nila nga konsultant nila para malingla, para makakuha sila og mga funding agencies diri sa gawas nga nasod para sa ilang mga sariling interes. Sakit sa buot namo sa tribo nga ka ang tribo ginagamit para sa ilang paglingla sa mga PhilAm communities dire sa gawas sa nasod. Gipangayuan nila ang mga PhilAm communities ug kanang suporta para kuno itabang sa among tribo. Pero sa tinuod lang walay niabot sa among tribo nga bisan piso o 5 centavos nga gitabang sa mga NPA o sa mga legal front. Sa 20 ka tuig nako nga gipahimuslan, sa 20 ka tuig nga gipahimuslan ko sa NPA, gigamit ang akong pagkabata, gigamit ang akong pagkatao para sa ilang mga interes. Gani ginasugo-sugo ko nila nga ipapatay sa kuha ang kanang angkol nako, ipadakop sa kuha ang akong mga igagaw tungod kay supak kuno sa ilang mga balaod. O nang hinaut ko nga iundang na ang pagsuporta, iundang na ang pagsuporta sa mga legal front ug kanang nagpaila nga sila nagtabang sa tribo. Tungod kay nakita nako nga ang kwarta nila wala gyud gipaadto sa amoa. Gigamit nila para ipalit og bala, ipalit nila og pusil. Nasinati nako nga ako isa ka squad leader. Nga ang mga kwarta na gikan sa legal front nga 500,000 nga itabang unta sa sa tribo namong mga lumad Manobo. Gigamit noon, gipalit og pusil, gipalit og bomba para mag-training dito sa Pantaron Range. Nagpamatuod gyud nga ang kwarta wala gamit sa sakto nga pagtabang. Gigamit nila para sa ilang kaayuhan o gigamit nila ang kwarta para sa ilang mga tao sa mga legal front. Ug ang akong ikaingon sa inyo ug ang panawagan nako ngay undang na ang suporta gani kami ako na nako'y treat sa kinabuhi nako tungod kay nagsulti ko og kamatuoran. Nagsulti ko sa mga gihimo nila sa amo ang tribo. Gigamit ang among kultura para sa ilang mga sariling interes. Ug kana lang.
Salamat, Datu Awing Apuga. Allow me to give the brief translation of what he said. He introduced himself as the son of the famous Datu Gibang Apuga, who is the founder of the Salugpungan Covenant of IP leaders in Davao, Agusan, Bukidnon. He was trained at the age of 5 years old with 48 children and became a full-time NPA members with 6 others from that group. At the age of 15, he joined raids and ambushes and saw children and minors aged 14, 15, and 16, including his girlfriend being killed. And those killed are buried in shallow graves without informing the parents. It's a trap because it all started by being a student. They were taught to study, read, and write, but the payment of it is they are brainwashed to fight against government. He was also instructed to kill his own relatives, including some tribal leaders and his cousin, and which he never implemented. Then I think he did not mention this, but he was transferred to another place. Then he was also instructed to act as a sparrow to kill police and military. He made mention that for the last 20 years that he is in the movement, he was abused and used to their advantage, to include the fundraising. His father was made a consultant of the Salugpungan International for fundraising purposes, but the money never arrived into their community, including their customary laws that were destroyed. Then they are given money, 500,000 for an encounter, which actually what he wanted was to distribute to the community. But it is used to have training, then buy ammunitions, bullets, and guns. So he made a call now that there must be an end to this international funding of this group. Even right now, he received a death threat for telling the truth. Thank you, Datu Awing Apuga. The last speaker for this afternoon is no other than Datu Nestor of the Langilan Manuvu tribe.
Hello. Mayong hapon. I am Datu Nestor. I belong to the Langilan Manuvu tribe of municipalities of Talaingod and Kapalong, Davao del Norte. I am also a former worker of the non-governmental organization organized by the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, and National Democratic Front. The NGOs that work is, they have programs, like for example, is the community organizing. We organize the community, the youth and the children to become activists and member of the child warrior. And also the women, the member of the activists. And the father is also member of the New People's Army and the Militia ng Bayan. We are here now to let you know that almost 1,000 tribal leaders and elders killed and no reason killed by the Communist Party of the Philippines and New People's Army. And our own ancestral domain, in our own community, there are 124 elders killed, for example, and our cousin. Datu Banadjo, including his son, Junard Mapaundag, killed in front of his family. And also, one of the political leaders of our tribe, of our leaders in the Mindanao, Datu Takinan, one of the members of the Indigenous Peoples Mandatory Representative, was killed by New People's Army. And also one of our mayor is Lorito, Municipality of Lorito, Agusan del Sur, abducted with the son of the New People's Army, tortured and killed by New People's Army. And also one of the leaders abducted by the New People's Army and tortured again there in the community. And also one of the DATU Higaonon tribe abducted also and tortured of the New People's Army. And also one of the city councilors, the Indigenous Peoples Mandatory Representative, also killed in his office by the New People's Army. And also one of the elders, one of the book of the Indigenous Peoples, because the elders is the book of Indigenous Peoples, was killed and tortured of the New People's Army. That's the reason we're here today and telling the truth that our elders in Mindanao, almost 1,000 leaders and elders killed by the New People's Army and no reasons. Because of the New People's Army, our situation now in Mindanao is very critical. Please help us stop sending money to the front NGOs there in Philippines, because the money come to the Philippines, there are many lives to die. Please help us, our campaign, to stop sending money there, because the money, the 60% of solicited money from the foreign countries, 60% give to the New People's Army to buy guns and valets and paraphernalia of New People's Army. Another 20% give to the staff or workers of the NGOs to become a salaries, and another 20% give to the NGO also to mobilize the people to come as members of activists to rally from Davao City, Butuan City, Kinapawan City, even in Manila. Use the money. Where's the money of the indigenous peoples? Where's the money of the foreign countries? That's why I'm here, to ask your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato Nestor. If I may add to what he said in terms of killings, these are the photos shown by Magdalina. These were actually murdered by them. Then later on, when we started to communicate with the communities, they have the courage now to pinpoint where are the mass graves. So this is continuing. We even call this lakbay hukay. This is a continuing activity in Mindanao to dig the graves of indigenous peoples who were buried when they were tortured. There was no proper customary law implemented when they were buried. So we have to dig them up again and accord them with the necessary ritual. Because for the indigenous peoples, it is very important that there is a ritual when one of their own is buried. I look at the situation in the Philippines, not just as murder. This is an elimination of a race. Because the killings is in more than 1,000 already, and the customary laws are destroyed. If you destroy their ancestral domain control, if you destroy their self-governance control, if you kill their people, what is that? Now, I can imagine now that their NGOs really, on the ground, we're not referring to the NGO that supported here, but the NGO on the ground, or the country that supported here, but the NGO on the ground will never make good. Why should they make good if they are party members? They are of the same color. Why should they make good in allowing an indigenous people's leader to develop a livelihood, then later on they will kill him because they are supporting the government? So it just shows their true color. There's no other color except to steal, kill, and destroy. These are the different mass graves that are being. And the worst part actually was the killing. We call it the Ranho massacre, where a group of indigenous peoples during worship service were massacred and beheaded. This is their true color of the Communist Party of the Philippines. Now you will tell me, and this is very important. The Communist Party is a legal organization supposedly in the Philippines. It is also a legal party here in Europe. I will not justify the difference, but in our country, a New People's Army unit is led by the Communist Party. There is a party branch inside a New People's unit, and that party branch are all Communist Party members. In the organization of the Barrio Revolutionary Committee, the organization of the women, the men, and the children, there is also a party branch. And these are party members, Communist Party members. You go into the entire hierarchy of the organization of the Communist Party, the National Democratic Front, there is a cell there we call party branch, and there are all Communist Party members. But for those in the organization, they call it party group, and they are still party members. Meaning to say, in our country, the Communist Party members are launching a revolution, a bloody revolution, sacrificing a race to achieve their desire to run our country. So that is the true picture of what is happening in the country. In fact, the 17 atrocities that is here, even at this point in time, we are challenging them for a debate. They are in Congress. We challenge them to conduct investigation. Let us investigate this. This has been shown to them since October of last year. They cannot refute every item that is written here. All that they will say is, that is a fake leader. They cannot go beyond that. We challenge them. They are here they're actually in the United Nations this morning, making accusation about extrajudicial killing. But why are they not around yesterday? Why are they not around here? They can come to us and discuss this. When we come back to the Philippines, we challenge them for a Senate investigation. We challenge them for a congressional investigation. Let's discuss one by one. And let's find out if they have the face to tell us and to everybody that they are not responsible for this. Enough is enough for what they have done. They have been showing the whole world that as if they have the monopoly of righteousness, as if they are the only people who knows what is righteousness, as if they are the only people who knows what is human rights. That's why we cannot really fathom it, that they have the face to tell everybody that they are the champions of human rights, and yet if you look them eye to eye, they cannot sustain. In fact, in one of the hearings in the Philippines, where one of the IP on their side was saying that he was fighting for human rights, I forget the name, but it's the same person who gave DATU Awing Apuga 500,000. You remember the name?
500,000.
Yung sa Pasaka? Yung nagbigay ng pera sa'yo.
Si Kerlan Panagil.
Yeah. We have to stay his name now. The name is?
Kernel Pernagil.
Not your name.
Kerlan.
Kerlan.
Pinagin.
Kerlan Pernagil.
A member of the tribe, a head of an NGO set up by the Communist Party Pasata, giving him money every time there is an encounter. Is that what? Is this what international organization is supporting? The Karapatan, who spoke this noon about extrajudicial killing. But this is an organization set up by the Communist Party, run by the Communist Party, but not all are party members. This is a, I don't know how to call it, but this is like a big syndicate of getting money from international donors who are pure in the thought that they're giving help to the poor people. But this finances actually the building of the New People's Army, the building of the Communist Party, the building of the National Democratic Front at the expense of them. You know, 50 years is unimaginable. For 50 years, they sleep thinking with these people around. They woke up thinking with these people around. Try to imagine if you are in that situation, just for 1 week. You can feel the fear, the agony, the trouble, the hopelessness that no words can explain. Sometimes you explain, no voice can come out of your mouth. And this has come to an end. We cannot afford for another so many years of deception. And this deception, they're not only doing in our country. Please take note that in their constitution, a foreigner can be a party member of the Communist Party of the Philippines up until you have your permanent party in your country. So meaning to say, Switzerland is not exempted. United States is not exempted. There are Communist Party members now in your country that comes to our country that is recognized as Communist Party members. Of course, to be a Communist Party members in Europe is not illegal. Because you are not launching a revolution. You don't have an armed group. You don't have a guerrilla. You don't bomb people. But in our Philippines, they are doing that on the pretext of a national movement to restore the democracy. Why? Do they only have the right of themselves? How about the rights of our brothers and sisters? They don't have the right? Why up to now, they are in the areas in our mountains that our government declared as a private communal property owned by the IPs. Imagine the government give them the land. But the Communist Party and the NPs converted it into camps. Where is the logic there? So with that, I'd like to... Another one also is, how I wish we have the time, because they are the so-called Operation Walibi. It is a 35-year assessment of the Communist Party infiltration of the different countries all over the world. Now I will state it now, which I have not stated yesterday. The Communist Party of the Philippines is the prime mover of the International League for People's Struggle. It is a like-minded gathering of the worldwide proletariat movement. But the big difference is, in our country, it is coupled with an armed struggle. We are the only country in the world that has still that, still in that situation. I don't know what words can else explain why these people have not realized that every day people are dying in our country. Families are separated. Respect for each other is lost. Where is their sense of conscience that they can still face people, face media, and says we are fighting for a national democratic revolution that is just? How can this be just if their families and brethren are being killed without mercy, without justice? So with that, I'd just like to, before I end up the presentation, I would just like to request my brothers and sisters here to have a presentation, which we could have done earlier. But through this presentation, It is an expression that our coming here is founded on truth. This telling the truth caravan is intended to once and for all tell the whole world that this is the truth that we must see, not the truth that they're saying anywhere else.
Magbabayo, siko ikaw kag duma ka nami, siko ikaw magbabayo kag duma ka nami. Magbabayo gongonin upusong dag, no kamoto kunton, nakarinog to ka namin guron, siko ikaw magbabayo kag salihan. Kono nagkay musay ni kawaro ka.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the time given us this afternoon. And we'd like to again extend our deepest gratitude for allowing us to share the testimonies, the life testimonies of our brothers and sisters coming from the Philippines. Good afternoon to everyone.